So let's go ahead and jump into it. Derrich Phillips, founder and president of Aspire Cyber. The idea of doing this Lead CCA Open Mic originated with Zach and I. Initially, we were doing weekly touch points, and we realized it would be even more dynamic to invite more Lead CCAs to the conversation, and then anyone who just wanted to participate in the conversation and recap in the Cyber AB town hall. So let's jump into the February town hall. What were your thoughts? Anything groundbreaking? Anything earth-shattering or key takeaways? What do you think?
Well, I would like to get your thoughts on the annual self-attestation and SPRS, like changes to that.
Is that the changes that Reagan covered?
Yes. A little bit of that, a little bit of
Yeah.
Summit 7 mixed in there, a little bit of just stuff going around, just changes to, I've hearing questions, do I need to do an annual basic self-assessment every year now? Is that going away? These types of things. Have you heard anything like that, Zach? Called them out.
I know that there's the annual affirmation that your system hasn't changed once you get level 2 certified. But if there's a separate requirement to do a basic self-assessment for the same scope, I'm not familiar with that. I may just not be tracking it. It seems completely pointless, though. Doesn't mean it's not a requirement, but I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to dive into the memo yet and the changes, but I would think that was a good overview that Reagan provided. But it's definitely getting to the weeds.
There's a lot of info. I wasn't going to drink today, but Reagan made me.
My head was kind of spinning like, man, this is... as far as us in the ecosystem, the CCAs and CCPs, we should know that level of detail, but to realistically expect the OSCs to dive that deep into the documentation, I don't know. I guess that's why it's going to be good job security for us to be able to translate all of that.
Well, hopefully KOs dive into it. I mean, that's what we're really hoping for here with the overhaul of the FAR, is that maybe more streamlined and standardized language. Because, I mean, we've talked to so many organizations that are like, I mean, I don't know first stuff CUI. We have a contract, but their KO doesn't even seem to know what CUI is, but they keep marking all their, their standard template CUI. So we have to protect that stuff. But that's what I really hope comes out of this, is better education for contract officers to just do things that make it more likely for an OSC to be successful and not inadvertently violate any rules. I mean, the broader FAR overhaul is pretty remarkable. Considering what it's trying to do. I mean, there's just so much stuff on the defense acquisition side that needed to be killed and changed a long time ago. And, credit to this administration for finally doing it. But yeah, still makes it even more confusing for OSCs just trying to navigate all this stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot to weed through.
What I did like is, at least it kind of clarified a little bit more about if you're restructuring your organization. So I know a lot of companies were probably getting a little nervous about that. If you're not making major changes, you don't have to, recertify, and then they're going to put it on the official to make that decision. So that helps out a little bit, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. At least not putting that liability on the C3PO or the CMMC ecosystem members. Then I don't think that's a significant change that's going to prompt a new assessment. At the end of the day, it's still on the AO, the liability. So interesting.
Yeah, they mentioned a couple of months ago, I don't remember which one it was, but I think it was on the town hall, it may have been the C3PO meeting, but they said something to the effect of, there's never actually been a reported change before, which I thought was very funny. All the companies in the world that have gotten certified, as it was at 897, a single one of them has changed their system significantly. That's impressive.
The reassessment time.
Yeah, maybe so. We just changed our system, and it's 2 weeks before our assessment, so it's good. But yeah, it is ambiguous, and I don't know. I think hopefully, we'll see. I don't know if anyone's been hit with False Claims Act for significant changes in this sense, because it's such a relatively new occurrence. I mean, certifications only have existed since January of last year. But I don't know. I think hopefully common sense will prevail. That if someone makes a pretty minor change, adds a new feature, doesn't really change how CUI is protected, no one's going to fault them for not getting a different assessment. But yeah, it's hard to know where that line is. I mean, what we tell people, like on the managed service side, is if you leave us and go somewhere else, like that is definitely a significant change. Like if you just completely drop an MSP and go somewhere else, that's clear to me. But short of that, I don't know. There's a lot of I think there's a lot of flexibility in there, and hopefully DOW will and DOJ will look favorably on organizations that are trying to do the right thing. Just things grow and change and expand.
I have a topic they brought the DISD. Man, shout out Aspire Cyber, man. That's what I'm talking about. Doing it for the kids, the generation, establishing awareness that there's always a way out. This is a great way for the future to find a path to change their lives. You're always going to need the human factor in this. We're not talking about robots, AI, body. The military's going to want somebody to be there, and you're opening the way for the children. So, shout out to you. And can you tell us a little bit more about, the plan? How it's going to go down?
Absolutely. So I was excited to see that. Wasn't sure if I was on the Cyber AD's ban list or not, if they would put it up there. But fortunately, no. I'm still at least in good enough graces. They accepted my my event notification. But yeah, the Dallas ISD and Aspire Cybersecurity and AI Summit, it was presented to me as opportunity with one of the workforce development partners with Dallas ISD. He said, "Hey, we have this school, which used to be elementary school, and we do events here now, and we want to do some hands-on for cybersecurity." And that was just right up my alley. Like, oh man! So the same day he told me about it, I came and toured the facility. I was like, okay, I have a vision for this. We can do these like hands-on workshops for CMMC, and then he wanted to incorporate AI as well. And then from there, it was been planning it the last 2 months. I did called in a lot of favors and phoned a friend, and we have like almost 20 industry partners from Alex Omeke, Zach Walker. There are at least two of them that's going to be coming in to support the efforts. We have another CPO, we have Google, we have Microsoft, IBM. It's really inspiring and encouraging to see all of the industry partners that are teaming up to support this effort. Because I think it really is important to expose kids as early as possible to the different career opportunities. And as we all know, CMMC has created a new industry. So this is a unique opportunity for them who are already, those STEM students are already either doing cybersecurity pathways or they're already dual college enrolled. So they're in a unique position to really get a head start on their cybersecurity career by getting CMMC. So we're going to give them that taste test, show them what's a day in the life of a lead CCA or CCA. And then from there, we can have, just see what happens with blossoms from it. But it should be a great event this Friday. It initially was supposed to be January 27th, but that was right around the ice storm. But now it'll be this Friday, we rescheduled it. It's going to be 78 degrees, I think 73 or 78, somewhere around there. So sunny. I'm looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
Do you have any plans on rolling something like that out? And I'm gonna just say San Diego because that's where I'm at. But I know that. So what I do is I work for Becker Tilly, and I do everything cyber, all pen tests, frameworks, all of the above. And I know that I talk to a lot of colleges and I talk to a lot of students, but it's always they bring me in as they look, this is the hacker guy. The cybersecurity is so much more than that.
Right,
So
right.
I've been looking at, trying to like talk to people like you. There's a guy I met at Summit 7. They had an event in San Diego last week. And he said, hey, look, we're going to be going to colleges and schools and kind of doing the same thing, mock assessments. And I'm
Right.
curious, like, would you in the future consider doing something like out here? Because it's a huge base of people that they just don't know where to go, and they don't know the
Right.
opportunity is here. And it's like, how can we push it in front of them to kind of get them involved and get them excited about it?
Yeah, absolutely. And San Diego's an easy sell, but we're hoping that this is going to be the blueprint for any K through 12 school who wants to put on something similar. We have that framework, and we be able to rinse and repeat to anywhere. So as long as we have those stakeholders local who want to orchestrate it, yeah, we can do it anywhere. And I know for Dallas ISD, they plan on doing this a lot larger next year. They have a stadium that I think it seats over 5,000. They want to open it up to all of the schools in DFW and even schools outside. So yeah, we can replicate this. So yeah, definitely look forward to talking to you offline and more about it. See
Gotcha.
what we can do. Indeed. But let's see. Other than that, I had to drop off like 10 minutes early off the Cyber AB call. What did they cover regarding ethics? What did I miss or anything interesting from the Q&A?
There's no effects. Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want.
Mock
Yeah.
assessment. Free for
No,
all.
it was good they clarified, and they did mention this at this DPO call a few weeks ago, but that, yeah, and I think I've thoughts on this, but it is perfectly okay for you to start a certification assessment. I presumably go into phase 2, so you upload results, go into phase 2, and then the OSC bombs it, and you're like, you know what? We'll call this a mock assessment.
Yeah, I heard
It's a
that
very
part.
interesting one. I guess it's like when I was in the Air Force and they were like, hey, if you are really fat and suck at running, you can just make your record a diagnostic PT test, which is the luxury I did not have in the Army. But it's an interesting one because at least in the Air Force, you had to pick if you wanted. I think you had to pick for it to be a diagnostic before, maybe not. I don't forget, but it certainly makes it easier for the OSC, and I think it makes sense because as far as I know, there's no penalty for failing an assessment. You just don't get certified, and so it's not like you're not getting someone a red F or whatever. So if there's really no practical difference to OSC, I think it makes sense that they can do that. It's a very interesting scenario that comes up. So I'm glad they clarified that that's okay.
Yeah, and I think the epic part of that was it was the reverse side of the coin where you can't start a mock and it's going great and then just jump in. Yeah, so they had to they had to clarify that part.
That should have been obvious, but I guess it wasn't obvious.
Good trick. It's nice.
Yeah, so I think that's a good clarification. Absolutely. So
I
welcome,
actually had a
Dr.
question on that.
Chambers.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, yes.
So I know that they presented as a look, you can sell it as a bundle. Like you can do the mock assessment and then we can follow it up with the level 2. And if somebody's starting off, with the level 2 assessment and it's going terrible, and they're like, hey, look, let's just turn this into a mock, you finish it out. At that point, did they already pay for that level 2 assessment? Does that get restarted another time or is that another contract? What's that look like?
Yes, that's a good question. Zach, does ATX Defense do mock assessments? Do you offer that bundle? What would that look like?
We do. We didn't at first because I thought it was just a way for people to extract more money from OSCs, but I've realized it's actually a really good tool for organizations. I think I mentioned a few months ago, organizations that are familiar with different compliance regimes may not necessarily know CMMC. So, sometimes good to walk through. But we offer a small discount, but I think we've never had a situation where we've turned a record out of a certification into a mock once the OSC was failing. And we've just failed them. But I guess in the future we could just make it a mock, and so then it's a little bit friendlier. Because that way, just to get a report out of it, they get a bit more actionable information, even though it's not going to be in the remediation side. It'll just be saying the fact. It's a little bit more useful. So yeah, I think we do that.
So Dr. Chambers, our newest CCA, congrats on passing your exam.
Hey, thank you.
What were your thoughts about the exam?
I hated it.
Absolutely hated it.
Yeah, I did. It took me a couple of tries. So I will tell you, the first try, I tried to tough it out the 4 hours. And the second time around, I took those 10-minute breaks. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it right this time, like I did with the CCP. And came out on top.
Yeah, that's all that counts. Absolutely.
Hey, Zach, it's been a while.
Yeah, I was going to say, so a crazy small world. 15 years ago today, Michael and I were in Basra, Iraq, hanging out, having a blast, literally and figuratively.
Wow.
So never knew he
Full
was going to be
circle.
part of the CMMC world. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You have less hair though now. I threw that out there.
I outgrew it.
Yeah,
I
it
outgrew
moved down. It migrated you.
Yeah.
Was that a significant change? Did you have to get recertified?
Significant.
Yeah,
See
significant
what else.
change.
I'll pick up on when Matt Travis kind of backtrack what Reagan said about Rev 3, as far as it coming full steam down the tracks. It was like, we have some time, and Reagan was like, we'll see. So there, it was a little interesting.
That's the thing, especially with the GSA stuff that just came out, that you can either do at Rev 3 or just go get FedRAMP authorized, because that's easy. So, I mean, we either, if you're a service provider, you maintain both SSPs, I guess, if you have GSA customers, or just get FedRAMP authorized. It's not ideal.
What do you think that impact's going to be? Because there's a lot of organizations that are on that GSA schedule, right? Probably larger than the DIB, I would imagine. That's a pretty significant. Pretty much.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get Gemini to take my SSP and convert it all to Rev 3.
Yeah,
my AI overlords just fix this for me. I mean, it's a big undertaking.
But on the readiness side, what are y'all seeing up there on the front lines? I'm still seeing just so many organizations struggling with their CUI, their scoping. Like, it's just mind-bogglingly just how many organizations just get stuck there. They're just going in circles, and just maybe it's CUI, maybe it's not, and they're just not getting any guidance from contracting officers.
I'm not seeing enough movement in the game on both sides. Like, I don't know if I'm crazy out here, but there should be people like jumping the fence like Walking Dead, you know. I'm not seeing it. I mean, I know people are getting it, but it should be more. If you look at the time frame calendar, you think it should be a bigger rush. I know it's going to start around like right before November, you know, but I'm just not seeing enough. I think it would be a good opportunity to people to really start at least learning it and figuring out your plan. But I guess we'll see.
Just think that a lot of the OSCs out there the people that should be getting certified, they're kind of, what's the word? They're in denial, I guess. They're saying, oh, it's not actually happening, and, just, they're saying that, the government's just going to just push CMC away and give everybody all these, extensions and stuff, but they're not going to add to the contracts. And they're I don't know. That's kind of what I'm seeing too, out there.
I think it has to do with, until they really see somebody lose money, they'll actually start doing something about it. I have the same problem where I'm at. So data scoping was really big for us. We moved to having 2 different data scoping calls, one specific for the business, where it's just business leaders, and then one specific for IT. And that made a world of difference, because the business will tell you how their data flow happens, what goes on, what do they do, when the intake takes place. But on the flip side of thing, until Lockheed, Raytheon, and RTX, whoever, come down and say, you are not getting a contract until you're this. Until they say that, they're going to keep skirting by.
Yeah. I agree. It has to have some teeth in it.
I don't know if these big primes are going to, spend the money, but they're going to have ready-made enclaves just sitting there for people to jump in. I mean, at this point, I mean, so we'll see. There'll be a lot of different solutions, but I mean, what's going to happen when there's nobody there with CMMC if everybody keeps waiting and there's all these missions that need to be taken care of with the right people?
Right. Because clearly there's a lot going on in the world where defense is not going to be dialed back any from a national security standpoint. So yeah, but the deeper I get into readiness, is to your point. I think the service providers who offer those ready built enclaves and managed, I think they're going to experience a huge flood once. I think last month you said, Zach, what you call it, the summer apocalypse is going to be coming with the certification stuff. Because to try to undertake that stimulus level 2 without having that help or a managed solution, That's a lot of work. It takes time. So I think we'll see a lot of organizations come to realization like, hey, yeah, whoever they pick. But yeah, I think that's going to be a really
It's gonna be
popular
the only
option.
way.
They're going to need, hey, I
If
need it
it's the only
fast.
option,
Yeah, that's the
if
only
you're not
option.
ready,
Yeah,
if you're not ready, you're gonna have to get somebody who's already has it ready for you. I mean,
exactly.
if you know.
Hey, I was listening to you guys. Hey, good evening, everybody. And how
Hey,
many
Dre.
people seen that movie, Leave the World Behind?
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah.
So you remember everybody standing on the beach and you see the oil tanker coming and they still standing there, they ain't moving. And it's almost like they had to wait until the ship actually hit the shore, and that's when they start running. And it seems like that's the scenario we're in right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
On my end, I've been seeing people like how you said they don't know how to do scoping. They don't know what CUI is. They don't know where it is in their environment. They don't know if they had any contracts that require them to, protect it. Then
Mhm.
I've been seeing another thing where it's a company that they just hired this brand new guy and they said you handle CMMC and they don't know anything about it. So he's standing there with the headlights, hey, what's going on? And then even like Michael said, I seen there's a client we helped get, with the 171 probably about a year ago. And I think they just realized how serious it was. The main person that we had communication with on that engagement left the company because they didn't feel like they was getting compensated the right way. And then Raytheon pinged them and said, look, you one of our subs, so you need to make this happen or you're not getting any contracts. And they gave them a deadline. And
Mhm.
now they're like, what do we need to do? So I'm seeing all of the above, everything that y'all
Oh,
mentioned, but I've been seeing a lot of action. I've been seeing a lot of people taking the steps and actually finishing the line. That's what I haven't seen.
Yeah, agreed. And I know for us on the readiness side, like December was crazy. A lot of organizations were like, "Hey, we got to hurry up and get certified by X date." But now it's starting to slow down in February, and several of those companies, I'm thinking back, like, okay, now I have time to catch up with them. Like, this is so urgent. Is it still urgent priority for you? Like, wonder what happened to some of them that was so urgent. So I think they might feel like they have some time to buy now, where they're not currently getting any pressure. But on that note, it's understandable though for these especially small businesses. They just have so many competing priorities. So CMMC is just one of many pressing priorities that they're having to deal with, and mention other geopolitical things, standard business operations. So I understand them trying to just really buy as much time as possible before biting the bullet. But it
They're
seems
gonna
like we're on
hire
a
a lot of
collision course. Like,
CCPs are gonna get real hot soon, because everybody's looking at CCAs, which is great, and kind of overlooking CCPs. But when you run out of these CCAs in a couple months, you'll be hiring the CCPs internally, which is another move that they're gonna have to do. A lot of trainers like Aspire Cyber and all these people are gonna have to see a lot of people too, because people like to train their own people.
right.
So yeah.
Yeah. On the training side, we're seeing a steady influx of people who are um, moving into the certification training and seeing CMC as a viable career path. So that's encouraging. But yeah, to your point, Alex, we need to see the OSCs moving forward and in alignment with the numbers, the estimates we see, the 80,000 plus or 200,000 plus. Yeah, it's uh,
I don't know if this is right, if this is okay to ask CMMC space question. I
you
just
got a
want to
representative
know.
here. You can ask any question. Any
Yeah,
like
I'll just make sure because man, great tool. Hearing a lot about it. Just want to know, do you got any new plans with it? Any AI integrations or anything cool planned out?
Most people just want to get certified. I've noticed as much
Oh,
as I love to just do fun stuff like that. I've had to realize that people just want a solution that works. So, and there's a lot, I don't have to make a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's already out there. Like I've just been, I have to be honest, during the call when Reagan started his 20th minute of talking about the details of the deforce changes, was like, I just got to make some videos. And I went into Google's little AI video maker and just started making some videos. It's kind of fun to do. No, I think the only big change for
Yeah.
us is that we plan on letting candidates C3PAs use our service for free.
There we go.
Gonna work on an announcement for that in a couple of days, hopefully. Get that out there. Because there's, I noticed this, so there's 547 C3PAO candidates and 98 that made it all the way through. And so, I don't know the details, but I imagine that at least some percent of them just don't want to drop $100,000 on a GCC high enclave or whatever they're told they have to do. So hopefully we can make it a little bit easier.
And that's why I asked, because not only is it, the price is crazy, the fact that it's in Google. See, myself, I'm a Google guy, administrator, and just the stuff that's already inside it is crazy and it's FedRAMP compliant. I mean, you get to not only get all this information at your fingertips, now you can analyze it, use tools. It's crazy, the advantages, Gemini, LM, application sheets. I mean, it was, hey, it's there.
So speaking of FedRAMP, I'm looking forward to the External Services Committee coming up with some guidance on that, because I think it's still ambiguous as to what you actually have to do for a FedRAMP moderate equivalent service. Because we just had our 28th OSC get certified, our 6th C3PAO, and everyone just has a different process of what they want to look at and what they want to use, and if they want to consider anything to be inherited or not. And I just really hope that gets tightened up, because it's just confusing. And it's, as an assessor, it's also confusing to me as far as what you have to do. And as far as the memo goes, the FedRAMP moderate equivalency memo, it really says that the OSC is responsible for validating the body of evidence. You want to talk about something that's like an impossible task. Hey, OSC, here's 3,000 pages of FedRAMP documentation. I know you don't know what FedRAMP is, but you need to certify that this is compliant. So we're into some really weird stuff. And I think that's a really good candidate for guidance to come out from that organization in the next couple of months. Maybe we'll see it at CS5 West. That would be even better.
Forward to it.
What is so Katie Ayrton? She's not at the Department of War anymore, right? She's left. That was temporary.
She's in a better place now.
Back to the private sector.
May I ask a question, gentlemen? To Alex's point, and also I'm the poor guy that asked about the tier 3, sitting around waiting for that SF86 again. I was a GS 2210 series, and that was a long time ago. But what do you recommend? What will your recommendations be for individuals who've passed their CCP, CCA? Alex, you mentioned being Google certified, having a lot of Google experience. What do you recommend folks do to kind of like, set themselves, apart, in the meantime, while we wait for the tier 3 and the passage of time? Get Google certified?
None of that really. What I would recommend is, there's so much good stuff popping up around, and learn all the things floating around. You have CMMC Space, ATX Defense. You have Prevail. You have people using Virtru. You got people using what is the other one? Kiteworks. So there's learn what's going on. Azure, of course, Purview and Compliance Manager, and just kind of they all kind of have the same things that go into it, which is going to be data loss prevention, which is preventing things from being downloaded and extracted from the thing. And then they have conditional access, which is if I'm in, another country that I shouldn't be in at this time of the day. And then, from there you move into the business side of it, who has access to it. But those tools protect, like, end-to-end encryption. If I get out of this bubble and the information travels, is it captured? So all these little tools do the same thing. So you need to know how they fit into the assessment. Like, okay, for this control, this tool will do this, this tool will do that, and learn that path, and they all start making sense to you.
I guess continue to sharpen the sword while we wait for the final. I know I got the 8140 down. I got certs out, got certs out the wazoo. I was just wondering what do you do in the meantime, to stay relevant and keep your foot in the ecosystem, and just stay in the water and just try to be relevant while you wait for to actually play and get in there and help support it.
Demos. Yeah, they all put demos out there. Just watch them. Whenever they come up, they keep coming every week. Everybody keeps putting this stuff. Watch them. You'll get familiar.
So, Carl, once you get your tier 3, what's the goal? Do you plan on serving on assessment teams, consulting, combination? What's your plan?
I've been doing everything from old school Unix, sysadmin, SANS, been through the SANS suite too much, been in ISO, again, was a Fed for a while, state government, see it as, very attractive. And I think that's where I'd like to kind of put the flag in the ground and, work that for at least hopefully the next 5 to 10 years. So, again, I've been adjuncting all kinds of things. So I just kind of wonder like, well, if you can't hurry up the tier 3 process, what do you do? Just sharpen the sword. How do you do that? Is there any ancillary certs? I mean, besides being, as cloud fluent as possible, what does a person do if you can't do anything else but wait? So I appreciate your gentleman's input there on that. Thank you.
That's a good question. I know a lot of people have, and a lot of people in your same situation, stuck in that tier 3 limbo. Hopefully it comes through for you sooner than later. But I do like that approach of planting your flag and deciding like which, because among defense contractors, there's so many different industries, and each industry has its unique challenges. So a couple of years ago, Aspire Cyber, we decided, okay, we want to serve primarily research universities. So I was intentional about marketing to them and speaking to those different groups, and it paid off eventually. But with that, it does require a level of specialty, because I wouldn't take just a lead CCA or CCP that got just newly mentioned and tell them, okay, navigate this research university through CMMC, because there's just so many nuances that's specific to research universities. So it does require that really deep dive, specialized knowledge.
Yeah.
The same applies to manufacturers and other type of industries, and state governments.
And I was at Notre Dame for 6 years. So, and also Department of Medicine. So, it's a whole higher ed's
Yeah.
different. It's different.
It is such a beast. But yeah, it's just really using this time to really kind of like say plant your flag and decide which industry you're going to serve. Because being a generalist, you can do that too in CMMC, but I think you're going to have a greater return on investment, maybe a more rewarding career if you are intentional about who you're serving, whether you're on the assessment
Market
side.
reward specialization. Absolutely.
Yeah, more specialization.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you for having this as well. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. Open forum. It's a lot of topics that go discussed or covered. So we're just here to brainstorm and try to all figure it out together. A lot of gray areas. Indeed.
Hey guys, I got a question for you. I was looking on LinkedIn and somebody made a post. Hold a second. This is it, dear. And what she was saying is that it seems like there's some type of a bottleneck. I put it in the chat. And I wanted to see, do you think that's the case right now, or is she just kind of, because she's got numbers and stuff out there, and I thought it was pretty interesting, but there's no way to validate that,
Who wants to
You said
tackle that
OSC.
one?
I just see the last sentence that says, "What's the real bottleneck? OSC simply aren't ready." And that's exactly what we've been talking about
Wow.
this whole time. It goes back to that. I mean, you can have a million CCPs, CCAs, but if nobody's signing up, they're still scared or just not ready or not aware, and that's the bottleneck right there.
I'm just waiting for the teeth to come down. We mentioned earlier, and to actually come through and say, hey, no contract for you, manufacturer. Once that starts happening, it will be an influx.
But the bottle is going to open. Yes, it's going to open up for sure because they have no choice. But then then the bottleneck may come the other way, where there's just not enough CCAs. Back to that,
Yeah,
it's going to be like a loop.
tidal wave.
Yeah.
That's why Aspire's going to have to save the day, bring in the youth.
Yeah, it's definitely a team effort. We gotta have to pool our resources and talents.
You have to.
Yeah, but I have
We're all
had
in the same community. That's why I like this ecosystem. We're all there's not enough of us, so we're all like brothers at this point, for real, and sisters. We're all
brothers and
a family. We're
sisters.
the first generation, so
Yeah,
glad I'm part of it.
tip of the spear. But I have had a couple conversations with OSCs who did say they lost contracts for not being able to demonstrate level 2 compliance or certification. I didn't actually see the contracts myself, but I have had a couple people contact me and say that. And needless to say, those handful that said that, they were highly motivated to hurry up and find a solution to get level 2 certified. So they were kind of fell in that category of enclaves and managed solutions that they were very interested in at that point. But yeah, that's what it takes in this actual teeth. And I come from the financial services industry, third-party risk management for Bank of America. Yeah, you didn't get that contract or renewal without passing that risk assessment. Those it wasn't optional or negotiation. It's pretty straightforward. But I understand on the government side, it's a lot more red tape and recourse and kind of different levels to it. But see how it's all playing out. How many of you have the new ISACA certificate, branded certificate? I know, Dre, I saw yours. That was the first one I saw. It's pretty fancy. Yeah, that official ISACA brand on it for the CCP and CCAs.
Yeah, the night mine came in, I saw a guy post probably a couple hours before mine. And I hit him up and asked him when he took it. And he said he took it like the 27th, which was after me. And I'm thinking, okay, I took it on the 23rd. How come I didn't get mine? Bam, I think within an hour, it came into the inbox. So that was the first one I saw too.
Yeah, gotcha. And I think on the training side, as far as those pursuing the CMMC career pathway, the ISACA credibility and exposure is definitely making a lot more cybersecurity and audit and IT professionals aware of CMMC now. So I do think that's moving the needle on that side.
Speaking of training, Derek, I thought it was interesting that they're going to grandfather in the ATPs and not require them to go through their ISACA ATO process.
Yeah, I think I had dropped before that happened, before he talked about that. So yeah, I missed it. So what's going to work? The ATO process with ISACA? How's that?
No. So there, actually Arnold submitted it at the very head of the conversation. He was one of the first questions they put in there. He asked if all the ATPs will be grandfathered in because ISACA has an ATO process, authorized training organization, I think is what it's called. And you have to go and get certified from somebody to show that you are doing what you're doing. It's similar to what you would do for like a provisional instructor or something.
Okay.
And I thought that was interesting that they're going to be doing that and not require this subset to not go through that process. I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. So as far as new ATPs, will they have to go through that process? What, after April 1st or to be
They didn't
determined?
answer that question. That was TBD.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I know when they first made the press release about ISACA taking it over, that was my initial concern because we were probably less than a month in as far as being ATP. I'm like, oh, what are they going to do? Revoke it now? Or are we going to just like ISACA say, all right, we don't need you ATPs anymore. We got it. So yeah, it's reassuring for sure.
100%.
Indeed. But no, I would say from the OSC side, it's causing the ones who are actively trying to figure this out, it's causing them a lot of stress, sleepless nights, and people resigning and saying, I'm not interested in this. I didn't sign up for this. So, yeah, I'm definitely from the readiness side seeing that level of stress for those who are in the trenches trying to navigate the organizations. It's tough.
I didn't want to talk about that, man. It's sad, man. And I feel,
Yeah.
I hate to see that happen.
Yeah. part of the level setting where I think Antoine, you mentioned like someone where pretty much the OSC will hire somebody and say, all right, you're in charge of CMMC, get us. Woo, that's hate to be in that position because
It was
that's
literally last
setting up
week.
set up a failure.
Yeah, like he said that I guess whoever they originally had in that place was, hey, like I'm out. I didn't sign up for it, and he was the
Yeah,
new hire. And that was the
right,
reason he was at the Summit Summit event, trying to soak up as much information as possible. So it's definitely happening.
right, right. Then on top of that, you're gonna start having more poaching where top talent, the ones who do have that skill set, are gonna be poached from the different MSPs and C3O. So
I had a
it's gonna be
general question, just because I don't know everybody here. I'm trying to like just pick up on where everybody's at. But so I'm curious, like, what is like the career path? Like, I know for me specifically, like I've been in cyber for a minute, and like I'm at a firm. So like when I saw CMMC, I was like, hey, I'm a prior vet. This is kind of a way to get back to the country in a different, different way, and this would be my route to partner. But I'm also seeing a lot of people like yourself, Derek, is like, hey, like I kind of took this and I made my own organization with it. So I'm trying to see like all of the different potential paths, that I could use to capitalize off of this, or just to like open a lineup. Like, hey, look, this is some of your options, and not having to stick in one specific, area.
yeah, sure. I'll chime in
Alex
first.
smiling.
Anybody else want to add to it?
Pass. Pass. What path do you want? It's kind of like going through a house of doors. What door you can be a QA, you can be a CCP, you can be a CCA, you can be a lead CCA, you can mess around teach if you want to go get another cert. Like, I mean, this project management. Then you're
Yeah.
talking about the assessment. Then you talk about the other side of the fence, where what's gonna happen is nobody's talking about this. Is all these primes and all these government contractors are gonna start having CMMC people hiring CCAs to work internally to prepare them for CCPs and CCAs.
Mm.
So there's gonna be so many ways. I mean, just pick your poison.
Yeah, I will tell you,
Yeah.
I got hit up by a Lockheed Martin guy doing the same thing to me, asking me about how fast I'm gonna expedite my level 2 certification. I'm like, dude, because
They're coming.
come on, yeah, they are coming.
Coming.
The thing is, a lot of people are going to go 1099 instead of W2s, so because they think it's more money.
Yeah, as soon
Well,
as I put just even the CCP and the clearance came through, I'm good. I had about people like 10 people just flood me, and hey, look, can you help us out, or can you, you got a 1099 because they work with other people and they just want a contractor, and then me, I teach in the past like cybersecurity stuff, so I was like, all right, I know that probably I could do that, so it just seemed like it's so much stuff at this point, kind of like choose your own adventure. So I'm kind of
Right.
curious where, that's why I'm like, where's everybody else's head at so I can kind of zero in.
Yeah, I mean, there's not only you have the assessment side, and the teaching side, you got the consulting side, but then also businesses are going to have to be able to show that maturity for, over the next 3 years and keeping
Yeah,
up with all the
ongoing.
documentation. It's not
Yeah.
just a one and done. So you have businesses going to hire people that know CMMC, and can keep up with, the SSP, your poems, your, I mean, you name it, they'll have to keep up with that throughout the 3 years in order to, uh, stay assessment ready for the next assessment cycle.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is it your experience then that you would see when folks have these mock assessments that their environment is so completely misaligned that they need maybe specialized cloud ninjas to kind of come in and instill best practices so that they can grease the skids and they'll be fine on their level
Things,
two?
you
You
know,
gentlemen
froze
find
up.
that
You
kind of
froze?
happening, or
He
is that
froze
an
up.
opportunity?
I've seen that. We've been contacted by several MSPs who were like, "Hey, we need a cloud architect that has GCC high experience or something like that because they don't have that expertise on staff."
Yeah,
So
posture
it's
management, understanding.
more like that. And then at the Virtue event I was at last week, I was speaking to someone who they are doing like pretty much setting up tenant as a service for Microsoft GCC High, and they're providing the documentation, but that's it. So basically, then just hand the keys off to them. So it's gonna be all type of different variations that you're gonna see
Yeah.
people doing.
Yeah, the answer might be like, welcome to the 7 Rs, replatform, re-architect, retire. You're just not even there yet. Forget the mock. I was just kind of wondering if you gentlemen were seeing like that as an opportunity for, folks that maybe could bring that cloud remediation experience, just align them quickly. Outside, I guess, just pick an environment and just plop your stuff in, like ATX Defense or, pre-made, ready to rumble environment.
I've been seeing a lot of job, which is going to be a huge GCC high and Azure Gov. Just pretty much Azure architects is going to be hot right now, and yeah, I've seen a lot of jobs with that, like desperation for real.
And I'm Mr. A. Too many
Oh,
AWS certs.
that's going to be that'll work too. They'll take whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but I do see, that skewered more. I deal with AWS, GCP and OCI now, and
It doesn't
I got to
matter if
get
you're
that. I got to
AWS.
sharpen that sword.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Matter of fact, you're good because if you're AWS, now who's your competition? Because they're still gonna need somebody who's gonna turn their cloud compliant. So now Azure, you're gonna have a million people sitting their applications in, but AWS, yeah, that's what you're doing, sharpen it, like you said.
I just seem to feel like, in my experience, like, remediation folks, they hurry to the cloud. We're beyond the 80-20 of like 20% of companies are in the cloud. Now everybody's in the cloud, if not one or more, using multiple CSPs. Kind of the question is like, okay, now I want to chase this business. I want to serve the DOW. And I got a product to sell. Yeah, they're just completely misaligned. The mock comes back, they're like, you're totally not ready. And then, you're really talking a little bit more architectural restructuring. And I wonder to myself if that's a niche, if that's a niche service, if you gentlemen see that.
Yeah, as far as AWS and going back to what I mentioned earlier to you is having that specialization. So with someone who hires CCP, CCAs, cloud architects, more so on the 1099 basis, but that helps me when I know what their specialty is. If someone says, okay, I just do it all, I'm gonna have trouble kind of keeping them top of mind. Or for you, Carl, for example, now you say AWS, you have that expertise, that's top of mind for me now. So I just think that it really helps. And I'm starting to see more RFPs come out for research universities wanting to get help on their enclaves. And the recent one we saw, are you familiar with that one, Alex? Well, they were leaning towards AWS. Um, so yeah, it's you're just gonna see everything under the sun. And on that note, as far as just career planning and what's we're seeing in the job market, I know there was a GRC recruiter that made a post this week about like how much CCAs are making. So I thought that was pretty insightful. And then on March 4th, Aspire Cyber, we're going to be doing a webinar with a GRC CMMC recruiter to talk about what he's seeing, give some tips about just how to set up your LinkedIn with your resume, things like that. So I'll be on the lookout for it, sending out that event. But just to get more insight from the technical recruiter standpoint, I think it'll give some really good tips for those of you who are exploring the different career options. And then as far as starting your own consulting business, that's another option. And that goes back to, again, the specialization of like, it's going to be easier to target certain industries and then really kind of get in that way versus being that generalist if you're starting your own business. But be a lot of options. We'll continue to share and talk about over these next few months and rest of this year. Anything else before we close out this session?
Thank you for holding it. Appreciate it. Very informative. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
See you next Pleasure meeting everybody virtually.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about building that community and making those connections. And I'll give a quick plug to the CMMC Professionals Network. So that's an opportunity. That's our nonprofit that opportunity for those to get some hands-on experience as well in that environment. And just always tell people, show what you can do. Like it's one thing to sit on your resume, But if there's platforms where you can demonstrate your skills in a training environment like the CMMC Professionals Network, then yeah, those experiences have led to a lot of different business relationships. So that's another way to separate yourself, where you're really just putting yourself out there, put out content. We're experts at this, so hey, put out content, share that knowledge, and it helps as well.
Before we sign off, this monthly, I just want to make sure because this is my first time showing up, but hey, all right, well, I'm here next time too.
Yep, monthly, right after the town hall every month. Cool. Try to make sure I get that right this next month. But all right, thank you all for joining.